again a lost trust instrument, I've listed out what I say are the 5 key principles out of this case. The first one was that there were tax returns that had been lodged all the way through. Okay, really powerful secondary evidence that the court put a lot of weight on. You're not going to go and lodge a tax return every single year for a trust that was never in existence in the first place. So that was very exciting. Exciting is a strong word to use, isn't it, in the lost trust instruments, but for the trust lawyer, it was very exciting. The second point was that there were details about what could only have been known if the trust instrument was with the person who drafted the will at the time they drafted the will. So some years after the trust was established, but before this issue arose that the trust instrument was missing, one of the key beneficiaries crafted a will, and that will set out the name of the trust, the date it was established, and I think it even mentioned some of the beneficiaries. Again, very powerful secondary evidence that the court liked the look of. Thirdly, while there was no particular balance sheet as such, there was certainly a list of assets that the trustee was able to bring to the court. Again, you're not going to be able to do that if you haven't been working under the assumption that the trust existed. The fourth point, and this probably takes the asterisks, and you know, the cynics online, the non-lawyers online, the real people online would say, well, that's to be expected. But the court basically went through this analysis and said, well, if we've got a professional, like a lawyer, who is involved in the establishment of the trust and they've brought evidence as to what the trust says, we're going to put a lot of weight on that. And here there was an affidavit from the lawyer setting out how they believed the trust was established, how it had been run. And the court said, well, look, all of the comments in that affidavit, even if they'd been provided by a third party, are good, but the fact that they've been provided by a professional, being a lawyer, is like, it's gold, and we're going to put a lot of weight on that. And the final point, which is actually an interplay, where did my red biro go? It's actually an interplay all the way back up here, is that the court talked about this fact that later acts help prove up the existence of the trust as well. So the fact that we had been constantly lodging tax returns helps reinforce the mere establishment and the mere, I guess, existence of the trust in the first place. So everything that you can point to which is a later act will help re-establish and reaffirm the earlier act, which was the creation of the original trust under a trust deed.